You are not speaking to adult content. You are speaking to a rack in a grocery store of books. And then you're going to tell me they're all romance novels. Like, that's bullshit.
Well, hey, everyone. Welcome to Drunkcast Live.
Yeah.
Episode 128 now.
We're starting with shots? Okay. Yeah, 128.
128. Yeah, we're going straight up. Well, she brought tequila to a knife fight. So,
yeah. Yeah. You got to go with a smile?
Yes, that's true. I'm Travis.
Hi, I'm Dylan.
And we're a podcast called Drunkcast Live. We like to have some drinks and talk about things that happen over the week. And we like to do it with cool people. Now, we're lucky, I guess, every 17 episodes.
Yes.
We're lucky to have probably one of the most charming people I've ever known.
And our cicada?
And cicada?
Yeah, every 17 years they're yeah.
Oh.
You're their cicada.
Look it up, science.
That has to be your...
I had no idea.
That's pretty cool.
The good doctor, Dr. Chauntelle Tibbles, is back on the show.
Hello.
You can see her if you're going to Drunkcast Live on YouTube, youtube.com/Drunkcast Live, and see her wave at you. Wave again so they know it's true. Yes. Yeah. But it's not old episode away.
New episodes. More waving.
More waving. All waving all the time. And she was also so nice to bring Brandy, the editor.
I am.
Is that how you want to be known for the podcast?
Sure, you can call me Brandy the editor.
B to the E. Okay.
Yeah, that's
Cool,
pretty
cool.
good. Oh, yeah, definitely. You can call me Brandy the editor. B to the E.
B to the E.
Yeah, that works.
She's our tequila drinker.
Yeah, I am.
I think the only one we've ever
Cheers.
actually on the show that was drinking tequila.
Intentionally, I think.
Intentionally,
yeah.
We're lucky to have them both because we're really celebrating a book that Dr. Chauntelle has written.
That's right.
Yes.
Exposure, a sociologist explores sex, society, and adult entertainment.
It's very exciting.
It is very exciting. Like, I'm really excited. I mean,
Are you?
You could be pithy if you want.
Oh, I'm super excited.
Okay.
I'm so excited. And nervous.
Well, sure.
And nervous.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a big thing.
No.
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
a little more personal than I'm used to being, so it's nerve-wracking, but it's exciting.
Yeah.
I think she's toning down her enthusiasm.
I might be.
I think you are, because you are a very enthusiastic first-time author.
Really?
Yes, I'm quite proud of you.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yes.
Wait, does that mean you have experience with the meeker?
I do,
yeah.
actually. Yeah, I've worked with some first-time authors who are just, I wouldn't say blasé, but they're a little bit sort of like, well, we'll just see how it does. Whereas Chauntelle is so enthusiastic and excited, and it's really lovely.
It's the way life
It's
needs
perfect.
to be.
Yeah, it's awesome, actually. Yeah, well, we'll get into
Anyway.
that. We'll have a lot of time to talk about the book and some questions about the book, and I want to keep a lot of things light. So, but I do have a real quick question. Why do you hate our president? No. But because Brandy's new on the show, I have to ask her 3 questions now.
Okay, yeah.
Now, we didn't actually ask you the third question. The third question is new for, of this year.
Wonderful.
We should probably hit her with
I
the
get
third
the
question.
We
third
can ask her the
question.
third question eventually, yeah. But there are 3 questions. First one is, what are you drinking?
I am drinking Patron Silver.
Patron Silver.
Salt and a lime, yes.
So, you dressed
Neat.
Patron?
I did.
Okay. And that's your go-to? Is that what you... Like, if you're going out to drink, you're going to have a couple of tequilas?
No, I'm a cocktail girl.
Okay.
I am a cocktail girl, but tonight I was feeling indifferent. So I said, just
Yeah.
hit me with the tequila.
Power
Yeah.
of Drunkcast.
Go in.
Yeah,
go
that's
in
right.
quick.
I mean, right? I'm on Drunkcast. I have to have a tequila.
Yeah, okay.
Basically.
My name's going to beat us up at some point.
Chauntelle, what the hell have you got me into? Tequila.
More salt all around. The second question is, what is your spirit animal?
My spirit animal is a hawk.
A hawk. Okay. Expound on that. What makes you a hawk?
I am quite observant. I like to observe at a distance, so I don't
Okay.
want to really be in the thick of things
Sure.
too much. And quite cerebral, I would say.
Okay.
Yes.
Hawks and...
I know they're cerebral.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're smart.
I feel like they're quite smart.
Sure.
Quite analytical.
I don't doubt
Yeah,
that. I don't.
yeah.
I did not.
I don't want to have like a
surprised.
mental tussle with a hawk.
I mean, I could take the easy road and say I'm a horse, but I don't think that's true.
Horses don't ride
You
horses.
don't want to be ridden. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. How do you know me so well?
So
He just knows horse culture.
that's for a different show.
Yeah.
And the third question is something that we ask. It's unique to you, and it's a question assuming that you'll have an interview sometime. Hopefully, a question you'll never hear again. Limes or lemons?
Oh, definitely limes.
Limes all the way.
100% limes.
100% of the way.
Oh, yeah.
Do you have a problem with lemons?
I don't.
Are you anti-lemon?
I'm not anti-lemon.
Okay.
But, tequila, margaritas,
Sure.
Tex-Mex. I'm a lime kind of girl.
You do lime with your tea, like if you're doing an iced tea?
No.
Okay, so you know where lemon is supposed to go.
Absolutely. And in fact, I don't actually drink iced tea.
Oh, really?
I prefer an Arnold Palmer. So half lemonade, half tea. So I do value the lemon.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect.
And
I respect
vodka.
the lemon.
And vodka, well, of course, for you.
Yeah.
Well, you get them. The Arizona iced tea only makes the one can for him. It has vodka already in it.
No,
now.
I can't drink that stuff. It's mostly sugar.
Well, it's also 40
tea.
ounces.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like, yeah.
Yeah. Only 99 cents.
You're underwater when you're drinking that.
Yep. So now you understand the question, but the question has to be unique for you,
Okay.
Dr. Chauntelle. Good doctor.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Crap, I actually don't have a question for you. This is the first time since we started doing this for the last 6 months or so. D batteries or C batteries?
C batteries.
C batteries, okay.
Because of Chauntelle? Or C?
Yes,
Okay.
all things C. Thank you.
All
That
things
was the
C.
reason why. No.
No.
It just seems like a C battery goes into more stuff nowadays.
Yeah, when's the last time you actually had to deal with D batteries?
With a D cell?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Not since I was a child.
Maglite.
Maglite, but I haven't had to change the batteries in my Maglite in forever.
Are
But
they
I also
just mostly rechargeable now anyway?
Not a Maglite.
Oh, really?
No,
Yeah.
because you want that heft, right? To bop somebody over the head with.
yeah. Oh, it's a double use
Yeah.
tool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. Police baton and.
My Maglite really is just a fleshlight. Just kidding.
Whoa!
Expound on that.
And it's stuff like that you'll find in her new book.
Product placement.
There's no fleshlight in my book, which is kind of sad.
That'll be the sequel.
Yeah.
Fleshlight exposed.
That's right.
Okay.
We just promised it to the world, so
You gotta deliver.
You gotta deliver now.
I
Yeah.
will.
Yeah.
I don't ever not deliver.
Yeah, the best thing to do, especially if you're stressed out about a book release, is to go ahead and plan not only the second book but the third book.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Oh, I think it takes the stress off, the publishing, the publication,
Sure.
the parties, the
Yeah,
interviews.
you don't worry about it because you're already like the next thing,
I'm
the
on the
next
next one,
thing, the
yeah.
next thing. I
Exactly.
don't
Yeah,
care. That's
yeah.
gonna be fine.
Yeah.
Are you interviewing for the book as well, or just for a shirt?
I'm not sure what that means.
We'll cover that a little bit later, but I'm curious if have you been doing like a circuit for it?
I
Like
have done a couple of interviews,
Cool.
but so far my publicist has kept the exposure-specific interviews to kind of close at hand, and they're
Okay.
waiting till it gets to be more into June because the
Sure.
world is very here today, not paying attention to you later.
Yes.
So we definitely don't want to do it. The book doesn't come out until July 7th.
Right.
And so now here in April, it's still a touch too early. So
Sure.
there's lots of lovely links and all of these wonderful, like, for example, if you were to go to mtv.com, you would find this fantastic interview with me and MTV.
It's true.
It's very exciting.
Nah.
And in there is a link to my book, Exposure. So we're mentioning it, but we're not doing any...
Full on.
Yeah, no, this is really and truly, this is the first one. The first one.
I can tell you're
Not
very
really, but-
hands-on with your guidance during the publishing process. By the way, yes, you said the right thing.
Brandy
just
is,
then.
yeah.
Well,
Brand's like, yes, Chauntelle, say that answer.
Yes, that is
that's
correct.
good.
I would have said it differently, but yes.
actually, what I will say is that her publicist is quite wise.
Sure.
Very good advice.
Well, the publicist isn't here holding up the cue cards too, so
Well,
I think
yes,
it's really
yes.
sweet
She's
of
actually
you.
across the street at the
Yeah.
gas
Yeah.
station. You guys can't see her, but Adela is over there.
Oh, yeah, with the Hawkeye.
Yeah,
she can see.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's perfect. That explains everything now. Okay, great.
No, but I think Chauntelle is exactly right. I mean, given the fact
Yeah.
that, here today, gone tomorrow,
Sure.
she should be
Tickle.
doing much more when the book comes out. But she has been getting quite a lot of visibility lately.
Yeah.
Not just with MTV.
Oh, no. It's, it's, yeah.
What is this MTV? Oh,
What did I?
never heard of that. Is it a
Well,
Oh, MTV, like,
mule television?
it is. It's actually Mule television. I couldn't
Yeah.
think of another
Yeah.
thing for T&V, so I was like, damn it, that was really quick.
Yeah.
Not another question. That one was about, it was, apparently there was this piece or skit that they did within their internal production, and it was about what would life be like if there were no porn. They say porn, if there were no
yeah, sure,
adult content. And so they're making this just sort of fictionalized little short thing. And so the reporter who I spoke to, she's like, no, actually, let me talk to somebody who actually knows about this stuff, like society and the adult industry and adult content production. What would life be like? Like, what are some of the things that the industry does? What would happen? Blah, blah, blah. And so we talked about that.
Great.
Yeah.
So then that is published.
Oh, yes.
When did that interview happen?
The interview happened early March, and it published mid-March, some
Okay,
March
sure.
teens.
Just turn over. Mule Television just puts stuff out quick.
They
Yeah.
do.
It's good. It's good.
Quick
They
stuff.
just donkey kicked that thing and do it right in there.
Actually, I think that's called a donkey show.
Oh, I don't know. Is that in your book?
I don't think it.
Is
no.
that alcohol?
Yeah.
Donkey show?
Donkey show. I don't think you talked about a donkey show in your
No.
book.
Those are not
Dot
real
XXX,
things.
right?
That's not really a Californian thing, right?
You ever been to Tijuana?
Is Tijuana in California?
It's just across the border.
Just
One
south.
stone's throw is not the same thing as being. I mean, because this is a North Korean territory, the Don's Depot.
Well, yeah, technically.
yeah.
Yeah, we annexed it for Dear Leader. Yeah.
Well, dear leader, let us annex it. Yes, that's true. Yeah. We're the number one podcast in North Korea. I don't know. It's hard to tell.
That's
And-
amazing.
And Britain. The last one's actually true. It's very strange. What was the percentage now? Is it more than 60%?
yes, 69%, which oddly appropriate for today's guest.
Well, it's 17 episodes. Yeah. 69% of our listening audience is from Cambridge area.
yeah. So
I think
Hi.
yeah.
So cheers.
Cheers
Hello.
to that.
Cheers, mate.
cheers the whole of England.
I would say.
I'm gonna get her. That's why they had the GoPro out
Say
here.
hello to the queen.
If they want to. Let's
Yeah.
not be pushy.
That's right.
What else has been up? We haven't seen
Yeah.
you in 17 episodes.
No, that would be probably more than 17 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, before we last talked to you, you were just getting ready to go to the fun stuff in January for ABN and whatnot.
I
Yes.
did that. That was always fantastic. Good talks, good business, good experience, good listening, good learning. The award show is always fun. I got to cheer. I was there with my fantastic friend Vince, and he was not impressed with my cheering. I think that he actually
with your
wrote.
cheering. Okay.
I know. I was
cheering.
wondering that too.
He was not impressed with my cheering. I think that his comment was something along the lines of, "You were the only person in this auditorium, like actually emotionally invested in this award show." And I said,
Well, yeah, when you were here last, you were talking. You would not tell us who you had voted for your category.
Of
Yeah.
course,
Oh,
I'm
you're
not
a
on-
voter.
"Oh yes,
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's really cool.
Yeah.
So how'd you do? How'd you work out?
I did pretty good."
3 for
It's now-
5, 5 for 7. What?
Well, there's like 80 categories.
Okay.
Right.
Well, percentage.
And you talk a little bit about that in the book as well.
Is it about being a voter? Yeah.
About being a voter, and also the certain things you can vote for. What was the best pun that you found this year?
Oh gosh, this year I don't remember any of them being particularly. I mean, nothing will ever replace "I want you to make my mouth pregnant" in.
That like
I
Tracy
mean-
Jordan, right?
the David Tell.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, it wasn't really.
It's a blowjob movie.
Yeah.
Come on.
I mean, yeah. You know,
it's-
I get it.
It's
Wait,
no,
that
it's
was
a little
act-
on the nose, right? That's the problem.
yeah.
Only if you miss, I guess.
Oh.
Point being though is that one is just that's the one, and I can't even.
Nothing will
For
ever
the
top
life
that.
of me, I can't even think of anything that was in clever category or clever title of the year this year.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I was pleased that Miss Annika won like across the board best performer in XBiz, XRCO, and AVN. I'm also an XRCO voter, and I voted for her both AVN and XRCO, and
Great.
that was exciting.
Yep.
She deserved it, and her husband won best male performer across the board as well. Oh no, he didn't get it for XBiz, but yeah, it was like they like win one
Still.
best porn couple.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
all
Aw.
year.
That's
pretty
awesome.
cute.
Prom Queen and King. Yeah.
Yeah,
Aw.
basically.
That's pretty great. Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that was good. And then since January, I was at Phoenix Forum, which is my favorite of all trade shows, business shows related to the adult industry. That one's all like B2B business processing, computer stuff.
Sure.
So there are, 150 people total there, and 130 of them are dudes. And then there's like 20 girls, and then
Free
it's like
drinks all weekend.
well,
Yeah.
you know what the best thing about the Phoenix Forum is that for almost all of the other shows and conventions, they split off with the mainstream industry and the gay industry. But Phoenix Forum, because it's all like behind the scenes and back end processing and everything,
Sure.
everybody, because it's all computer stuff, it's all the same. So you have all the gay companies with all the mainstream companies with all the niche companies. So
Right.
you get this like hard BDSM stuff that you never see, and then just like
Sure.
the most.
Who all just need to make sure that their Quicken works or whatever.
Basically,
right?
like
Yeah.
everybody's there, and I don't even know what that means, but they're like, "Does my
They're
Quicken
like
work?"
QuickBooks for BDSM.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And so you have people there that are from like Insects, which is like
Not that that would be different.
horror BDSM. Like it's like staged murder BDSM kind of stuff. Like Insects is whoa. You have Insects, they're right next to like Titan, right there next to like CC Bill, you know, like the most like, I don't know, like mainstream Target of all porn kinds of, you know, like Target the store with like tiny little boutique stuff, but they all have the same interest. And that's my favorite part about Phoenix Forum is that there's like everybody's interests are kind of at that line of processing and
Yeah.
back end stuff. So
Yeah.
they don't like de-differentiate. There's no consumers.
Right.
There's no models
Right.
there. I mean, they hire models for like the topless pool party kind of stuff. Or,
You know,
like,
the topless pool party.
The one,
and
yeah.
there's always the best one is when they have the like young boys making out with the like, because there's a lot of gay companies there too. So you got these.
Is it in a cash booth or
Like they
something,
s-
or are they just making out?
And they just
Like-
stage the making out? Like,
Oh no, they have the like hottest makeout, hottest boys making out. And so all these models are like, oh, I'll make out with you, and there's a whole like spraying of water, and you're like,
that's your next job.
nobody even cares
I'm
about
really not sure how that just happened.
I mean,
Well, she gestured to you. I mean, come on.
Dylan, like, I mean, like,
We'll check the tape on that one.
the point being
Right now, yeah.
is that everybody is welcome at Phoenix Forum, and
Well,
it's
yeah, because
fantastic.
business still has to happen no matter what.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
And you bring up some things about certain different industries that it took a long time to kind of climb up to being known in the grand scheme of things. But yeah, business always works.
Yes.
Everyone's welcome when it comes to, are you making money?
Well,
yeah.
well,
Does your Quicken work or whatever?
yeah.
Right, yeah. Especially when you use Quicken.
Well,
Yeah.
you know, like,
but you mentioned like CC Bill, and like CC Bill. I think is still are they still number one or?
Well, essentially, you know how like XBiz puts on XBiz and
Yeah.
Avian puts on Avian, CC Bill kind of puts on Phoenix Forum now.
Yeah. So these are the people who process the credit card payments for
Yeah.
your subscriptions.
yeah.
Yeah.
Or for the uninitiated who don't.
Oh
know
no,
that.
yeah, no. I'm saying like I was excited, not
Oh.
like no. Don't tell me I know, like because I didn't know.
I didn't know either.
I was just
And they
excited.
throw sick parties. I've been to a couple of
Oh
them.
yeah,
Sweet.
yeah.
Yeah, good stuff. There's always a casino night the last night, and it's always not about the fake money and the poker playing, which is fun too, but
Sure.
like what kind of just wild act did they get? And this year, it was almost too much. It was almost too much.
Almost.
Almost.
Almost, but not quite. So what was it?
I can't even describe it
you
in
really
a
need to
succinct
start,
manner.
like, you
there was
need
a guy with a blinking light in his mouth crawling around on the ground, but on a stage.
Shia LaBeouf.
I wish.
You really need to start live tweeting some of this stuff because it sounds incredible. Or is there like there's not an embargo against that,
You
right?
guys need a drink? We have a
Yes,
pending-
please.
Yes, thank you.
I'm good, Tammy.
Let's go ahead and actually take another break so we can wait for the next drink.
Okay.
Give us some time to breathe
Yeah.
and think a bit,
Sure.
and then ponder,
Ponder.
and then love.
All right.
But we'll be back after this.
Well,
I've been to a yokel jerk. Great crawfish. Welcome back to the show, everybody. Segment 2, the unnamed segment.
I have a quick question and random plug for anyone
Please.
who wants to give us money.
Yes.
So our lovely Brandy, you have tequila.
I do.
There's a tequila I discovered not too long ago that I don't like tequila, but I tried this
He is a vodka
and I
man.
loved it.
I like vodka too.
Milagro. They have amazing stuff. It's sipping because you're not doing like crazy stuff over there.
Yeah.
It's great.
I'll
So
try it.
Check it out. And Milagro, money, please.
Yeah.
Yes.
Milagro.
That's all it takes is one. Well, we just have to bring up Milagro 2 more times, I think, and then they will show up and immediately give us a
So
check.
the Milagro Beanfield War, or whatever that. No.
Yes, that is what it's called. Yeah.
Sorry.
I was going to say that's a good plug, but then I thought that might get a little too close to the fleshlight conversation that we were having a little
Do we want to talk
earlier.
about good plugs? I mean,
Because we're
Like
talking about good
fleshlights?
plugs.
I
Fleshlights are the
mean,
best plugs.
hey. Well, we talked about that last time. You toured and you met the people, the business that is Fleshlight.
I did.
Yeah.
You even talked about that a little bit in your book when you had the opportunity to finally go into a place that produces porn.
Yes.
It wasn't like there wasn't a guy in a gimp suit with like a flashlight and a gun. Like, it was a very friendly person who was like, "Hey, welcome to our business.
Hi.
We make money doing a thing. We have performers, and the performers like to do the thing. Would you like to meet them?" And you said, like,
Basically.
yeah.
It's kind of funny, like, to think about, because a lot of that, that particular story, if memory serves, that was 2006 or 7.
Sure.
And I mean, the whole idea of, like, quote unquote porn studies and stuff is very different, in 2015, but it's also not at all connected to the industry. When you hear of people, like, studying things, there's no people actually going in and
no, of
observe.
course.
That's
Yeah.
not happening.
Yeah.
There's a lot of content analysis. There's a lot of, like, worker consideration that's not necessarily very rigorous, but there's not any actual, like, hey, can I sit in your business and do mailers for you for 6 months
Until
unpaid?
Sure.
Until you did it.
Well, and
Which is
since I did it,
in
like,
your book.
yeah, and so it doesn't happen now, and I think I probably was the only one who did it. And I was terrified. Like, I thought that, I was in a neighborhood that I had been a million times because it was just some little nondescript, Chatsworth neighborhood in Southern California, and
Chatsworth.
yeah,
It's the valley.
it's in the San Fernando Valley.
Valley.
So, like,
I didn't know
how.
either.
Yeah, thank you.
How Austin, for the outsider of Austin is like this whole entire place. But Austin is also Round Rock and
Oh, sure.
Pflugerville
You got
and
your
Clarksville and
Clarksville,
South
your
Austin and
Terrytown, et cetera, et cetera.
I would call Chatsworth the Pflugerville of the Metroplex.
Okay.
It might be.
Wow.
Okay, so you got your
Hinterlands.
spread out.
Yeah.
You have
Well, it's
different
very
chunks of. Okay.
the Los Angeles area is very sprawly, and the San Fernando Valley is its own particular little world.
Sure.
And Chatsworth within it is, you can't stand on a street corner and not see a porn production company, and it's very different now.
True.
So many places have closed. In the late '90s, early 2000s, it was like porn central, and now it's very different. But
Oh, why is it different?
because of the economy and piracy and people not
Because
paying
of
for
Obama? You're going to bring that up again? No, I'm sorry.
because of how because there's probably 1/3 of the companies that there were before. A lot of people have
Sure.
consolidated. It's just not the same. And it's not the same. There's this place called the Lamplighter, for example. I know.
Oh, I know it. Yeah.
You know the Lamplighter,
Oh,
right?
he knows
There's this place called the Lamplighter,
I'm gonna
and it used to
recuse
be.
myself.
It used to be back in the day that you could go into the Lamplighter, and you would see, like, any number of, like, very powerful in the business people, and then like in the face melting heat to the 114 degrees. It was the San Fernando Valley, and now the Lamplighter has
Is that
just.
true?
Oh
Yes.
yeah.
Oh, the valley's a miserable hellscape.
It's the hottest. It's like Vegas, and it's funny because people are like, "Oh, LA, it's so pleasant," but there's the little mountain range, the Santa Monica Mountains, that separates West Los Angeles and, like, UCLA
Yeah.
and Santa Monica and all that from, like, the rest of LA, and
To
the rest of LA
the
is
worst
The
of
asphalt
LA.
jungle.
Yeah.
quite
Yes.
hot and asphalt jungly. But anyway,
Yeah, sure, sorry.
in terms of, like, going in and doing that stuff, it was terrifying. I was like, it's funny to think about it now. But it was terrifying. It was absolutely, like, I can absolutely remember, like, I was in my mom's Jeep, and I remember the outfit I was wearing. I remember I had my hair in a bun with these little sticks that my cousin gave me because I was like, oh, for luck, I'm so scared what's going to happen. And, like, I went inside and had a meeting. It was no big deal.
Right.
It segues
Right.
very nicely into.
Oh, Jesus.
Well, a couple of things, sure.
Yes.
That now I'm distracted from. So, what were we going to bring up, Tom?
Well, so many things.
Well,
Look at those.
put my readers on.
if memory serves as a point too, there's as we forwarded to you, page 62,
Yes.
the dream.
Yeah.
Were in between sleep. Your first time on a no, it wasn't your
It
first
wasn't
time.
my first time.
It was at the time when you realized that you weren't in a strange space anymore. It wasn't
Basically.
as alien.
If
yeah.
I may, ladies and gentlemen,
A quote, please.
this is from page 62.
Yeah.
Dr. Chauntelle's book, Exposure, available July 7th.
We need to
Pre-order
cheers to
Amazon Prime.
that. So excited.
Cheers.
Oh, yes, cheers.
Oh, everybody.
Don't believe
Yeah,
everyone.
everyone.
All
yeah.
right.
We got the GoPro for a reason.
I got my readers on for a reason, too. So, our
Open
lovely
on.
doctor stumbled one day into a set to study
Yes.
this adult entertainment industry.
As she's wont to do.
Yes. And I quote, And then suddenly everything was very bright and glamorous and incredible. Glitter started to fall from the ceiling, covering the floor with a light dusting of silver sparkle. Pink neon ran along every line and corner in the room. I was in a sparkly pink spiderweb. Evan Stone walked up to me. Inexplicably, he was wearing an orange and pink ringmaster's costume and carrying an ornate platter. I was eyeing the trio of baby goats walking alongside him. Where did they come from? When he leaned over, offered me some pizza and a glass of champagne. Wait! Where was I? Did I just doze off my chair? Not quite. Didn't actually fall asleep, but I was in that in-between dreaming state. That's how anticlimactic everything was.
It's a true story. I really,
So it's a true story.
really.
Do you remember that vividly? That point
Yes.
when like all of the even the baby,
Well,
even the
okay.
baby goats.
Especially the baby goat.
Especially the baby goats.
I mean, like I would say probably.
First of all,
If I were to tell that story, I'd be like, I have baby goats and pizza.
Was it goat cheese pizza? Because that would...
I don't remember the type of pizza.
It's good.
It goes well with champagne. So.
Yeah.
Delicious. See, okay, there's a couple of things here. In between my like obsession with being like David Sedaris, and in between my obsession with being an ethnographer, one thing that you do as an ethnographer is you always take notes.
Sure.
So one would call it journaling or keeping a diary.
Journaling.
Documenting.
Documenting makes it sound serious.
Twilighting is the word I
Right,
prefer.
twilighting makes it sound like serious.
You're more of a documenter, I think, than a
Documenter.
twilighter.
Yes,
Though that
than a
passage, I don't know.
Wait, is Twilight a thing?
No.
It is
No,
now.
We're talking
it
about that
is
later.
now.
Okay.
It is now, right? But so in terms of asking if I
Hiring.
remember the dream, I do because I went home that night and wrote it down, and I
You did,
probably
yeah.
wrote it in my phone. Like I just fucking dozed off on set, and oh my god! And it was the most nondescript, random, silly set. And the reason why I had a dream about Evan is because Evan was. He's a very loud, talky person.
Sure. Because he
And-
he forced his way in because as you're dozing off, he's still around
Oh, he's
you.
a
Yes, well,
Remaster.
he was
Yeah.
around, and
Exactly,
because he
yeah.
was doing an interview, and so
Yeah.
I could hear
Yeah.
him talking, and
Yeah.
I just kind of was like,
So before I started reading your lovely words, how far along in that was your process? So we started on the topic of you were scared, you didn't know anything, you were the first person to kind of go into this, I'm going to actually be on set and watch. How long from that point to I'm
That-
dozing off my chair because this is just whatever.
hat.
Yeah.
well, that set, I would say, that set was interesting only in the sense that I dozed off.
Okay. Okay, but still, how
When
long
I-
from, I'm scared,
Yeah, I
you're a
mean-
little girl to...
Right.
I'm on a porn set and I'm...
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was probably 2011 when that
So,
happened.
what,
So
3 years?
3-4 years. That was probably the 30th-ish set or so I've been
30th,
on.
really.
And was it just like vanilla sex? Like,
Yeah,
is that kind of
there
what
was
was
a-
it like? It was like total softcore.
Well, it wasn't.
like-
There wasn't any sex happening. This was just in advance because it's like you go and you're like,
Oh.
really, we were supposed to
That's
be
why she
here
dozed
at
off. There
noon,
was no sex.
and it's now 2. No, you
She
know
was
what?
hungry.
Yeah, I was hungry.
Yeah.
That's the next chapter, actually. Next paragraph is...
I went to the South African restaurant. I left
Yes.
rather than watch
I had
Evan
so much
Stone
fun
and
eating goat cheese
Angelina
pizza.
Valentine have sex. That is not because it's not like they're having.
Right.
It's not like there's this big sexual expose. It's like, okay, so go like this.
Right.
Now be still. Picture, picture,
Photographers,
picture,
yeah.
picture, 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 picture. Okay, now work for a while. Okay, now picture,
It's-
picture,
yeah.
picture, picture, picture. Okay,
Yeah.
like flip now.
You knew what that meant?
Oh yeah, of course. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's the way it's stop, start,
He
stop,
speaks sign
start.
language.
Well, my brain's always worked like that. Like as a kid,
Photographers are in his room constantly.
that was not my brain.
That was your brain on drugs?
No, even as a kid, I was always fascinated by voice actors. You know, like I'd watch cartoons. I love cartoons, but I always
Yeah.
loved voice actors. And when I did start watching porn a couple weeks ago,
I just started watching it recently
and
myself.
I realized a weird fantasy. Actually, that means a lot because you wrote a lot about it without knowing anything.
That's right.
Which is pretty.
That's genius.
pretty remarkable.
Genius.
Also, you're a big liar. No,
Just call me what's his face Frey. James.
Frank James. Okay,
Frank James and James Frey.
James
A
Franco.
million little pieces. That guy.
Oh.
Frey.
Yeah, Frey.
James
Probably,
Frey.
yeah.
James Frey.
Million little fibers. Yeah.
But even watching porn for the first time, I recognize that like there's no way this isn't produced in a way.
Oh,
this,
it's
this
heavily
isn't
produced,
like
yeah.
there's two people who are just like having sex and like we like anytime you watch a reality show and then like they happen to have that one camera angle where it's like they caught us. Like no, they didn't. No, there's always cameras there and there's got to be a lot of time. Now I didn't know at the time, of course, that it was probably 6 hours of producing, but like to see it and to understand is a biggest disconnect I think with normal humans
Because you
and the
never asked me
fantasy.
before.
Well, there's another chapter in the book that talks about it's specifically about it's another time on set, but it's about sitting there and watching a guy performer just like a respected like 500 scene.
Was that horizontal table?
No, that's
This is
This is the
different.
Cetaphil.
Yes, this is
Yes.
Yeah.
milking table.
I believe it's the chapter's nice guy.
Yes.
What was the no, I'm getting the title wrong. Chapter 6, I think, is what it is, though.
Is it? I think it's further on. It's the one about like being a guy in porn is hard.
Yes,
Or not.
15.
Yeah, being a guy in porn
Yeah.
is not
Hard.
hard. Yeah,
Not
yeah,
hard,
yeah.
right?
But
And
it-
it's you know to watch it's the one to think about like okay, this was supposed to start at 8 a.m. and it's now noon.
Yeah.
Like how and for it was because I mean in that particular instance there's always different circumstances and sometimes the things go perfectly. In that instance it was because of the woman performer too. So imagine
Leave some meat on the bone for the readers.
oh there's plenty. But just imagine
Yeah, no, this is great. Yeah.
what that guy
Poor man.
went through. Yeah. Just
He was
and
there
then
all day long.
Just waiting. Yeah.
Yeah.
all day long with his dick hard. Like, be honest. Like, that's what he had to
I mean,
do.
I've heard blue balls are real.
but it's
Oh.
not even. He didn't even. That's
yes.
not even.
No, that's not even what you're getting at.
That's not even what it. Yeah, it's that. Like that. That's one thing. But he has
Sure.
to maintain.
Right.
Like he has to be able to appear like he is ready
Yes.
to work
Yes, yes.
for however many hours.
And continuity issues like has to be the exact from scene to scene.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
it
And
can't
he-
be. You can't be like
A little-
80%
yeah,
amassed
yeah,
or whatever.
yeah.
Wait,
Yeah.
your
yeah.
hard on is. Well, okay,
Yes.
I see.
You can have,
Yeah.
a chubby,
Yes.
you can have a semi. Yeah. yeah.
But there's also,
Yes.
but I mean, there's a lot of stuff that people don't think about that the guy performers do, and so like I've spent a lot of time interviewing because nobody pays attention to guys, so
No,
I
of
always
course.
interview the guys.
Because it feels like it's an endless stream. you
But
know,
it's
and
not.
anything-
There's
yeah,
a
exactly.
it's an endless stream of women, which is interesting. It's not an endless stream of guys. There's a very
Right.
small number or an infrequent number of men that can actually do the work, and most of them
Yeah.
have.
You said like 40? I
Yeah,
was surprised by that.
No, generally, and there's no demographics on any of this stuff.
Yeah, because
but-
there's no.
Well, what are you? Hey.
Well,
that's your
right, but
job.
I mean, but no.
Well,
I mean,
there's no work.
Teasing.
There's no work history, right?
There's
Like,
no work history,
exactly, yeah.
and like going and doing and getting like rigorous data over longitudinal study. I mean, I got a lot of free time, but
Yeah,
I
you're
don't
not-
have that much free time
you're not
or that much
German,
money.
You know, right?
Yeah.
You're
but-
a published author.
Oh, you never know. Maybe I'll do next. But people tell me that's the guesstimate, 30 to 50 at any given time. But
Yeah.
that's not the fringe and the like guys who are doing like gangbangs in Florida and stuff like that. That's a different like class of a different
Well, we don't talk to those people. so,
subsect of
yeah.
performers, and that's all well and good. But the guys who are like, okay, I have to show up on set at 10 o'clock. I have to be hard by 10:30. I have to do stills. I have to work. I have to pop, and I have to be out of there by 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
Like that's imagine the like control. I mean, just think about it. Like if I sleep too late or not enough, if I skip lunch, I can't even go to the gym. Like just I'm going to the gym. Like,
Right.
Imagine the control that you have to have over your body, and then that and the calorie like expense and all of that stuff. So people have a lot of like rituals and things that they do.
Huh.
There's all of these. Oh yeah, like what people eat. My friend, I don't want to say anything. There's a performer that I'm very, very close with, and he has like whole things like his exercise that he has to do at night, what he has to eat, how much he has to sleep,
Oh,
he
sure.
gets up in the morning, how he showers, what he listens
He's
to.
an athlete.
He's totally an athlete.
Yeah.
He's like a sex
Yeah.
athlete.
Yeah, because
And-
they're selling the body.
Right.
Absolutely.
And he will do everything in his booking power to be booked for a morning scene. An afternoon or an evening
Booking
scene
power.
fucks him up. It,
Yeah.
it really
Yeah,
does.
He's wrecked.
And so, but when you think about that, like the timing of your body and all of that stuff, like
Sure.
how you're like, oh, I'm so tired at 3 p.m. Imagine if you were having that like 3 p.m. slump,
Yeah.
but you were supposed to be like working. Like,
Well, and it's surprising too because I mean stereotypes really like you think like that it's all chemically induced. Like
for some it is.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that's really, really interesting.
For some performers, it's chemically induced.
For some men performers, it is, and that's the thing that you can see a
Because it's part of
shift.
they make the money off of it.
Well,
right?
if you
Yeah.
if you watch the way the performer pool has shifted, you can see guys that are still around from like back in the day, like the Stephen St. Croix, when there wasn't any like needle and there wasn't any Viagra and there wasn't like this kind of stuff wasn't there. So people who could work and then who could work with condoms, you see, and some of them, so like the Stephen St. Croix, the Barrett Blades, the Eric Mastersons, those people are still there. But now there's this pool of younger dudes. You're like, how is this 22-year-old able to like keep his dick hard without like, whoa, this is like a
snorting
30-year-old
Viagra
man's
there.
control.
It's like when the
And
80s,
that's what it
during the
is.
80s when Coke showed up, and like, oh, well, we have to keep up with this guy because he's willing to work 7 days a week, and we're
Basically,
not. You know,
right?
Like,
Yes. But it's interesting. But the thing that happens though is that when people are reliant upon that, then you get a bad scene on the other end.
Yeah.
So somebody who can actually pop and make a convincing finish
Yeah.
is preferred over somebody who's just going to stay hard. And now you're like, what do I do with this penis?
Get it out of here.
Get it
Because
out of here.
an
Like,
artificial hard-on maybe doesn't deliver.
but he doesn't have the
finish.
show at the
Okay.
end. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, more than you ever wanted to know.
You know.
No, I mean, like, that's everything.
I mean,
we
it's
wanna know. Like,
fascinating.
it is
It really
fascinating.
is.
It really is. Like,
And it's
because,
all in the pages of Exposure,
yes,
It is.
available July
By
7th.
Dr. Chauntelle Tibbles.
Yes.
our good doctor,
It's true.
our favorite doctor.
She is.
Actually, the doctor I've seen more than I've seen real doctors.
Oh, that's terrifying.
I'm a real doctor, just not an
Well,
MD doctor.
Not an MD, excuse me. Sorry, that was misrepresented. That was problematic.
What a jerk.
Let's take another
We
break,
have a red light here. So.
and we'll come back after this.
Yeah.
You have a superhero-based penis store?
Yes.
Welcome back to the show, Drunk Ass Segment 3, the Fightin' 3.
Yeah.
It's always a fighting three.
It's always the Fightin' 3. We're still obviously hanging out with Dr. Chauntelle Tibbles and Brandy, the editor, who is, so scared she's anonymity-wise not going to tell us anything else about her.
That's not true.
Tequila, editor.
Yeah, that's all we need to know, right?
I mean, that's all you need to
scar.
know. Gnarly scar. I got one of those.
How about if, Brandy, if you were going to vacation anywhere in the world, where would you go?
At this moment, it would be Italy.
Italy, huh?
I'm sorry, that's pretty lame, but yes.
No.
it would be Italy.
Nothing wrong with that.
Anything out of the States is already +2 to awesome.
All right.
I would say only if you want to go to Venice, then it's lame. But otherwise,
Oh yeah, no, not Venice. It would be Napoli.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, Napoli and South.
But wait a minute. We currently are in the city that is the most attractive city to globally because it's the
yeah,
most
me.
attractive city to the state of, or wait, no, the entire United States. Everybody loves Austin.
Stop moving.
Oh, you
here,
mean the city
people.
itself is attractive?
That's what I'm saying. Like
Okay.
where we are currently. So most people, if you were to ask that question outside of where we currently are,
Yeah.
they'd be like, "Oh my God, I didn't go to Austin." And we were like, so there's no such
That's
thing
exactly
as
what we
there's
would do.
no such. Well, it's really nice here, but like settle down.
Oh yeah.
It's
settled down.
It's
is right.
settled down.
Yeah.
Settle down.
There's no reason the 700 square foot house should sell for $450.
Oh, also,
is-
also keep this in mind. Today is what August 20. I'm sorry, August. Yeah,
It's the 17th day since the last time we had a good time on the show.
April 25th. We're recording this. Today was 90 degrees on April 25th.
Yeah.
Think about that before you move here, people.
Yeah.
No, they just come for South by Southwest, and they're like, "Oh my God,
I love Austin. It's so
It's
awesome.
24/7 Coachella, but like with a river, and there's
Street
turtles.
is so cool.
Yes.
Austin. It's
Wow.
weird.
We're so close to like a couple cities. What are they?
Let's go back to the bevy of cocks.
Okay.
Back to Cox.
Great segue.
Bam.
Wow.
So, I do want to ask the question. Like, we sent you a couple of questions that I was
Yes.
curious about. The porn industry is not wanting, they're making money,
Are they?
right? Well, okay, so keep in mind that we're talking about you. What was the purpose of the book originally?
The purpose of the book for me was to get my work out there for both epistemological reasons and social justice reasons.
Sure.
It was to put out what I feel is an accurate, heartfelt, and accepted, meaning the community accepts my rendition of the story, not without question and not like, hey, she can speak for us, not like that.
No, sure.
But
It should never be 100%.
That people in the business read what I write and go, that's an accurate portrayal of what's happening. There's not going to be
that's
like
really
a
cool.
Twitter storm where people are like, oh my God, she's
Yeah.
telling it's not the way it is.
Sure.
Which is what
an
happens.
Or telling our secrets.
expose.
Yeah.
Right. Well, which
Yeah.
is absolutely not.
Right.
So there was the desire to put that out there in the first place, which is very important to me for various reasons that it talks about in the book. I have quite a penchant for the underdog, quite a penchant for the outlier, the outsider, whatever. It's just kind of the way I am and the way I was raised.
Yeah,
Like,
sure,
it's just
sure.
the way it is.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of in line with my character. But the other thing about it, the why to write like the exposure book in particular, is because of the cult of academia and the cult of knowledge and knowledge production that we all live in and survive in and reproduce.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff in there like I'm a sociologist, like a actual rigorous hardcore
Yeah.
go at it with the best of them from a really good school with
Deep
really
in
like
crowdsource, not
I
crowdsource.
believe balls deep is what you're looking
Yeah.
for.
Yes.
She said go at it.
balls. No, but I mean like the work that I do is, it sounds so weird to say it like this, but it is on par with any other rigorous sociology out there.
Right.
However, because of the subject matter, it has been widely sort of disparaged.
Yeah.
And
Which is a
that
great
is
segue to this quote
well,
from
what
the book.
but that's
yeah.
aggravating. But I have to finish my point. Like that's aggravating because not because I mind being challenged or mind being questioned or mind academic discourse or anything like that, but because of the blockades to knowledge production and to understanding what's truth, what's acceptable information, what we speak about rhetorically, how information gets out, who has access to it, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
I could have published like a hardcover book that costs $60 that only university students
press
could read.
book.
I could have done that, but that's not okay. I could have written it, I mean, good fucking Lord, like go read some of my law papers. Like I can write like the most esoteric asshole around. But, I mean, I can write at a level that most people can't
Well,
connect with.
you never could have published this work in a university context with this voice.
Of course not.
You would
No.
have had to put on your
Right.
Chauntelle Tibble's PhD voice.
Right.
And
and not only is
Which
that
is an
not,
owl mask, is what
Yeah.
I see. Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
an
And
owl mask.
Yeah.
Oh.
So fox owl.
spirit
That's the
animal,
fox owl, though. Remember my spirit animal from the
Yep.
fox owl?
Yep.
Right. That's the owl part.
Yep, the
when they
owl, yeah.
asked me what my spirit animal,
I don't know what a fox owl is.
That's my spirit
Oh, I'm
animal.
going to look that up.
Hey, listen to the episode.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was 35 or 34 episodes ago.
34
Yeah.
episodes ago. But the idea that if you're an academic and you can only connect with other academics, or if you're a member of a community and you can only connect with that community, you're not doing anything for anybody. Like academics have their heads so far up their asses that their work it's great and it's important, and there's something to be said about academic rigor.
Right.
But there's also something to be said about that, how that academic rigor does not do anything in the real world.
Sure.
At the same time,
I know you-
parroting communities doesn't do anything.
Their milestone is how to make more money in order to write the next thing, so they can have
Keep
another
their grant
milestone.
money coming.
Right.
Right.
Right, and
Like Big Paleo.
Well, and
Yeah.
I
none of those
Sorry.
things, none of those things
talk
am I
about it.
interested in. What I am interested in is making large scale, not even social change, just here's a piece of information that you don't have to like.
Yeah.
You don't have to agree with, but you cannot ignore it. You
Yeah.
cannot pretend it doesn't exist. You cannot lie about it. And regardless of who it is, that is important to me. And picking apart the way we think about truth, information, culture, knowledge, all of that is important to me. And even in the context of this book, I know I'm not supposed to talk about this, but there's already been other academics who have been like, this is not sociology. This is like total like self-aggrandizing, blah, blah, blah. Like people who've reacted to this book.
Well, and
It's
I
like,
think-
slow your
I think
fucking roll.
responding to the passage that you really like.
Oh, I need to read this before
You know,
I
Chauntelle,
get
when
crazy. Yeah.
when this project was presented to me, it was that Chauntelle wanted to humanize this industry, and she really wanted to sort of speak to the fact that these are people who have careers and jobs and have to support their families, and she was really that voice for that.
Sure.
And so I think
Which
that's,
makes me feel uncomfortable. I don't want to be anybody else's voice. I don't want to speak for others. It's not, I mean, if you listen to my interviews and listen to my,
Sure.
like, I will never ever tell you, porn stars feel like this. Women do know, but at
you
the
are
same
giving
time,
us a different access point.
But it's
right,
also,
and that I'm okay with. But it's a very slippery slope and a very interesting space to think about that. I'm not trying to speak for somebody, but I am trying to make somebody's mom go, hey, this is a person with a job.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well,
a
and,
job.
that's like, so one of the biggest stereotypes you would consider about the porn industry or adult entertainment, however you want to put on airs, is that it's very private. And
consumer behavior, very private.
Well, sure, but in order to actually show that it is a business, then it's a simple
Oh,
thing.
you mean that the industry? Yeah, of course.
yeah.
The industry is very private, very mysterious, very veiled.
Closed door.
In order to really shine a light on it, you have to have someone like you, a personality that wants to shine a light in order to show that it's worth ignoring. If you understand my meaning.
Yeah.
Instead of just saying
Yeah.
like, oh, 100% of people who we talked about this a little bit, like the theory that a person who works in porn, it's a stripper who finally made it.
Right.
And that's really demeaning.
It's really demeaning to people who make it. What does
Yeah.
that mean? It's demeaning to porn performers. It's demeaning to everybody else who works in the
Who
industry.
produces it.
Dancer?
It's demeaning to strippers.
It's demeaning to strippers? Yeah.
It's all of it.
Yeah.
All of it. Like that. Just the way we think, like the way we produce knowledge about the subject, is off mark.
It's broken. Yeah.
Yes, it's absolutely.
I have to do this.
Dylan's about to explode.
I'm
Glasses on.
I believe the word is pop.
Oh,
Sure.
If you read the book.
Come off.
All right. So really, everything you talk about, you wrote this in the book, and I think it sums up perfectly and brilliantly your perspective on all of this.
Yeah.
And I read, not in character. So
You can't do it like Tom Brokaw?
No, I don't do
Al Gore?
No.
Okay.
I don't. No, I don't.
he's gonna read like Dylan because
I'm gonna read. I'm gonna,
Dylan's going to do what Dylan does.
I mean,
because
Hey.
Dylan is.
Dylan is.
Yeah.
Dr. Chauntelle spoke to Dylan.
That's right. But this is from her book. This is her explanation, kind of introductory reasoning for how and why and the glaive and of all of this.
Yes.
And I quote, "And it began, who cares?" she asked, referring to my proposed topic. This is referring to your mentor and you're proposing your doctoral degree. "Everyone," I said, "everyone cares about this." To which she shot me a pointed, incredulous look over the top of her glasses. Not 5 minutes in, and I was already starting to annoy her. I was wasting her time. I tried again. "So little is known about this industry, but it makes all this money. Surely there's something going on." She hit me with the same look of incredulity, now faintly peppered with disgust, as she walked over her wall of books and pulled a few titles off the shelves. Their premises were essentially porn hurts, porn harms, and porn is a heterosexist tool for destroying women and strengthening patriarchy through capitalism.
Patriarchy.
Capitalism.
And as she slid them
As
across
is
the desk
capitalism,
toward
apparently.
me, her message was clear. This is what we know. This is what goes on. And I think that brilliantly sums up your perspective on why you went into this business, what this book is talking about. Your mentor, your person guiding you through your degree, in your studies,
Yeah.
said, "No, you're stupid. We don't study this. And we
Basically-
already have. We know this is dumb." And you said, "Hold on.
Un momento, por favor.
I'm a Newton bitter."
Yeah. Choto, mate,
Slow
kudasai.
your roll, bitch.
Yeah, that's what she said.
Yeah.
I wish I would have said no.
But
That's the thing, and it's funny to hear that because like when that happened, I was 27 years old. It was in my first year of graduate school.
couple years ago, yeah.
Yeah,
just,
like
just not even
2
a
years ago.
decade ago. It was God. What year was it? It was 2005.
Oh, ages.
Ages. But I mean, it's interesting to think about how like what that says about school and academia
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
knowledge
Yeah.
production.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, look, here's a lot of dollars and a lot of people.
And a lot of sense.
Well, and you know what I think is really interesting is that even in a sociology department, in a large public university, you get scorned for looking at porn. Like, it seems to me that if there was any place that you could kind of say, I want to know what the heck is going on. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I was super
Yeah.
interested in, like, skinhead subculture when I was in high school. And, like, I could have gone to college and studied that. But
Yes.
I probably would not have been scorned like
Nope.
you were.
No.
Not in the
And that's
slightest.
galling
Yep.
to me.
It is, and it was
Yeah.
galling to me,
You know,
and that
I'm
is the
glad-
reason why.
She wrote the book Exposure.
Bam.
July 7th. Pre-order now on Amazon.
Yes. No, it's funny to think about that, and it's funny.
Well, why do you think they fought you so hard on it?
Well, probably because the same reason why most people are uncomfortable. They don't know what's going on. They're fed on myth. And then when you get it in this academic context, a lot of people are very comfortable with knowing everything, with being the person who, like, I know everything in the room.
Sure. Like Big Paleo. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
like Big Paleo.
Those
And
bastards.
I want to know more about Big Paleo.
I'll tell you. Yeah.
In this particular instance, we were. This is like, if you think about it, it's so funny because I've seen one like exchange where people were like, oh my God, like you act like that was a big deal. But the level of big deal that was, I mean, this is like at the time UT was like a top 5 research university in the United States.
Yeah.
The sociology department there was like cutting edge, and the department has since had some issues, but at the time, I mean, it was like, holy fucking shit.
Yeah.
And on that level, to think about somebody who is in control of the information that is coming out of that place, like, would be like, no. That people are like, oh, you were in grad school, it's no big deal. Oh, blah blah blah, blah. It's no big.
That's an issue.
That's an issue for a young person like I was.
Absolutely.
Then in that kind of context, that's an issue. That's a huge issue. But it's also an issue about like the one of the most like weird refining crystals of how information trickles down in our world. Like
Yep.
that's what that is saying.
It's
And for
protected by the noggins.
Right,
Protected by
and-
those people who will.
Yeah,
and-
big noggin. Yeah.
and it
big
is
nothing, yeah.
sure it is not the same as like street level violence, for example, or like socioeconomic inequality at the most
Sure.
base level. Yes, clearly it's not that. But when you think about what that is an example of in terms of how we think in our culture, that is so reprehensible and so wrong.
Yeah.
And just so deeply disturbing to think about that. And I can only imagine the level that it goes on in a private university, in
Yeah,
like
sure.
in an Ivy or
Yeah,
something,
sure.
or maybe not. Maybe
Sure.
they don't because they don't give a shit. I have no idea.
Teachers teaching college
It's
for.
called Skull and Bones, sir.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like that movie.
I love that show.
What was that movie?
The Skulls.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh God, so good with Pacey Whitaker
That's
Whitter
right.
in it. Oh,
It had the
I heart
Dawson.
Pacey Whitter.
Oh,
me
no, not the
too.
Dawson.
Joshua
Pacey.
Jackson. Yeah,
Pacey,
Joshua
yes.
Jackson.
Pacey.
Yeah.
Oh, I was Team Pacey.
Where? Oh God, I used to have a tank top that said
Oh.
"I heart Pacey Whitter."
And
Team
that's how we
Pacey.
segue here on Drunkcast.
Yeah, yes.
As we end the segment.
I just totally was on an academic high horse, and now all I can think
Team
about,
Pacey.
all the way,
Yeah.
all the way.
Team
yeah.
Pacey.
Maybe the
Yeah.
Pacey cam now.
I remember everything. I remember you came out of the classroom and you were wearing that bracelet. You're like, why are you giving me such a hard time, Pacey? My mom gave me this bracelet, and I just found it. I remember everything.
Culture always defines us, no matter how important a subject happens.
Your face is red. So is mine.
Oh my God.
Oh, one more, please. Yeah, let's go ahead and take our next break. And we'll talk about how that fell apart. And we'll be back with our toe segment.
That was full circle.
You are.
Yeah.
You're now load bearing.
Oh,
Nice.
God.
Hey, welcome back to the show, everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Segment 4 is the Fantastic Four, and we have 4 fantastic people.
Hey.
Yes,
Two fantastic people.
4 fantastic people. Look, dive deep, man. It's all about you and us and them.
I think you're fantastic.
I think diving deep was chapter 7
Ooh,
or
chapter,
8 now.
That's the next book.
Diving deep 18, yes. Still hanging out with Randy, still hanging out with Dr. Chauntelle. Having a good time, I think,
The-
so far.
the
I
good
think
doctor, yeah.
I've had a good time.
So good.
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah.
good.
So good.
Best ever.
We're ready
Actually,
to-
Dr. Chauntelle promised to take a shot earlier and is not delivering on that
Oh, I
promise.
don't think that any. I mean,
Yeah, you got called out.
It's in your book, actually.
fucking A.
In the
That's chapter
appendix.
14, I think.
I wound up just taking those drinks, and I forgot there's a toast segment.
Oh, yeah, we
This is actually the perfect opportunity to wait for those drinks.
Oh,
Oh, well.
garçon.
Garçon. That is Tammy's last name. How did you know that?
Garcon means boy.
Yes, I know that.
It does.
I know, but it was in that movie. Pulp Fiction.
Oh,
Django Unchained?
Yes.
No, it was in Pulp Fiction.
Oh,
same difference.
same difference. It's always
Wait,
the
you're
same
an editor.
difference.
Never say that ever again. Jesus, woman.
That's a weird phrase, isn't it? It's a weird phrase.
It's a good one, though. It's a good phrase.
It is.
I endorse same difference.
Okay.
I do.
What do you think
All
about the word got?
I have a real.
Oh, have got. Oh, I hate that.
I have a
What do you think about?
tremendous problem with the lack of precision in language.
Yes.
I.e.
And
got.
God feels like it's so completely superfluous,
because
right?
you just lack of precision language yourself. Because you should have said e.g. God. Because there's all kinds of other lacks of
I
precision,
was
right?
being
No?
precise for our
Snap.
listeners.
That's the only
Thank
thing
you,
you care about. Sorry.
PhD.
Whoa.
Man, shit just got real.
Yeah. Get a room, whatever that is.
How do you feel about people saying,
Get a chat
"Where
room.
are you at"?
I hate that.
It's such a California-ism.
Where
you
oh my
at?
God, where
I
are you
don't,
at?
I don't have Boost Mobile. No.
Should we have a whole episode about
Dare you?
about language?
Classist
What did you say?
motherfucker!
Did
Oh,
you?
I don't know what happened.
You just
Did you
told
just do?
so many
What happened?
rude jokes and a Boost Mobile. That was also
I didn't realize that was a classist
the
joke.
best,
I
the
don't
best
know
thing
what
I've ever heard. Best thing I've ever heard.
It sounds like Chauntelle was racist because he was
No.
classist. Because it could have been innocuous.
Oh, it
wasn't.
could have been
He
innocuous.
was Boost Mobiling the
She's
class
wrong
moments.
shaming me.
Wow. Wow.
So this is the part of the show where we have some drinks and we talk about stuff
Yeah,
that's
we
happening
do.
over
Where
the
we
week.
are drunk.
Where we start over the entire show from segment one.
Oh,
Anyway,
shit.
so we got Chauntelle on the show. No, this is our toast segment. I want to thank Chauntelle. I want to thank Brandy for coming and hanging out with us. Really,
Yeah, it was a great show.
it's always a privilege to have you on the show. It's also awesome because you guys are great together and you were
Thank you.
great by yourself.
Thank you.
Yes.
Oh, I love
Yes.
that. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, as a man, you're very happy to hear me tell you how great you are.
I am. I do.
Ooh.
That's okay. I'm okay with that. I actually am quite secure in my identity.
Yeah.
My femininity. I appreciate that.
Heteronormativity.
Yes, my heteronormativity.
Yeah.
Now you guys are just throwing out
I'm
words.
sad. No, I'm sad we didn't talk about the pegging thing because the pegging thing is cool.
Next time.
And after this segment, I want to talk to you about some stuff that maybe is off your radar or it is.
Oh, I don't think anything is off her radar.
Well, no, I'm curious because, like, you're busy and I'm bored and I'm on 4chan and I don't know how often you were on 4chan. So, anyway,
there.
so
toast.
this
toast,
is the time we have a
toast. Toast.
I want to thank you for writing a book.
Yes.
You're welcome.
Like-
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
This-
Thank you.
This
My
is
pleasure.
literally thank you, really, yeah, to both of you.
The
Like
book is called Exposure.
exposure.
A sociologist's exploration of sex, society, and adult entertainment.
July
By
7th.
Dr. Chauntelle Tibbles.
July 7th.
PhD.
It's
You are now on Amazon.
it's a great read. It really is.
It is.
Like it.
I'm quite proud of it.
Yes, Brandy, you did the best job.
She did a good job.
I did nothing. I'm proud of her.
Sure.
You fielded a lot of hysterical phone calls.
In the middle of a field in Hearn, Texas.
Like
I don't even know what that
cornfield.
means.
It was
Wow.
a cross country horse riding field in the middle of Hearn, Texas.
Were you on a horse?
I wasn't.
She's a horsewoman.
I am. I was not
Horse
on a
person?
horse.
Well, she's a hawk person who
On a horse.
Also rides
Yes,
horses.
yes,
Yes.
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 And horses and hawks are very good friends. I don't know if you know this. Like
the best of friends.
yes, friendship is magic.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
You just did a My Little Pony quote.
I did.
Yes, you did.
Yes, on purpose?
Are you a brony?
Question mark? No.
No.
Next episode.
I am not wearing a fedora or a trilby, madam.
Trilby. You know what a trilby is?
I do, and I also know that I'm wearing flip flops, so I'll never wear either. So anyway,
Man, that just got dark.
it got dark.
I don't know where
So
that's going.
this is a cheers to
Dr. Chauntelle.
Dr. Chauntelle, the great Dr.
The, good,
Chauntelle.
the great doctor, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, the great doctor. Great doctor or greatest doctor?
Greatest.
She's a
Yeah.
great doctor. I don't know that she's the greatest doctor.
Well,
I'm just being
That's
literal.
That's
I'm
scientific.
Being,
That's scientific.
Well,
I am being literal.
you are the only one here.
Yeah.
My job. That's why you like me.
Chauntelle, do you have anything you want to plug besides your book, or including your book, whatever you want to say?
What do you
This is
wanna
the
plug,
time for you to plug.
A butt?
Do you want to peg something?
No,
No.
I just want to peg my book. And
yeah.
and Drunkcast Live, my favorite podcast
Aw.
Thank
of
you.
all of the
Aw.
media.
Thank you.
I have all have done, and it is a lot.
Yeah.
This is still and always
So
will
good.
be my favorite.
Thank you for that.
Most
I
favorite.
really
You are
appreciate that.
way too
Most
kind.
favorite.
Way too kind.
Way
For
too
sure.
kind. Yeah, she did it. She tapped the table.
Brandy, what if you were going to give to the audience?
Sure.
Like, what's going on with you? Like, is it a Twitter feed, a Facebook, a Zune store?
Publishing house that you
Publishing
for
house.
whom
Like,
you work.
what do you want to like a shout out to?
Just shout out to me.
Moms, dads, doctors.
I want to give props to Area 5 performing at Rolex this weekend.
I don't know those
It's
words mean.
Rolex. Yep.
Stormy is down there.
Is she at Rolex?
Oh yeah, no. And Glenn had his nails done, and they both her hubby and their daughter have Ninja Turtle backpacks, and they're like Rolexing.
That's pretty
I
cool.
understood
Super
Ninja Turtle
cute.
backpack.
That's
Everything
rad.
else
That's
was
awesome.
yeah.
Yeah.
Super
So,
cute.
so I want to give a big shout out to Area 5 and Rolex. Not
Yeah.
that any of those
It's
people are
horse
going
stuff.
to be listening to this podcast.
ha, ha.
They might be.
Maybe you'll tell them about it.
Maybe
So,
I
yeah,
will.
yeah.
I'm going to put it on my Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. And I do want to give big props to Dr. Chauntelle
Of course.
for having
Yes.
the balls to write this book
Yes. Yes.
and for
lack
not
of
pursuing university. I'm drunk. For not.
We did it.
You did. for
Yes.
for looking outside the realm of university press publishing.
Yes.
Kudos
yes.
to you.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
That's
that's-
some high praise.
It is.
That's good
It
stuff.
is. That's
Yeah.
big.
That is a true
No,
beauty.
That's big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yay. Table.
Table.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for listening to this episode of Drunkcast Live.
Yeah.
We love you so much for everything you do. Unless you don't do anything, then fuck you. You can go to drunkcastlive.com, drunkcastlive.com, and you can see updates and things that we do. We can go to facebook.com/drunkcastlive. We're at drunkcastlive on Twitter, and something Instagram.
Drunkcast Live pics,
I think it's Drunkcast Live Pics.
but we never take any, so
It doesn't matter because Instagram is for idiots. We also really love you for
don't tell the
going to.
Kardashians.
You know,
Dead air.
I'm just a big fan. Bruce Jenner and me, like we go way back.
Tight.
Oh, that's going off air, man.
And it's very unfortunate that a thing that he was going through that was very important is still attached to the Kardashians. Sucks.
On that note, I completely wholeheartedly agree and cheers
You
to
can go
all
to
that.
iTunes. You can find Drunk Ass Live on iTunes, and like maybe give us a comment, give us a rating. You can help us help ourselves.
And drchauntelle.com?
DrChauntelle.com.
Do you want to spell that?
Where are you on Twitter?
CHAUNTELLE.
The French way.
IBBALS.com.
BANANAS. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, settle down, Gwen Stefani.
I'm sorry.
Like
Ben.
always,
I miss her.
always on Twitter at drchauntelle. And yeah, check out Exposure. It's on Amazon and other places.
It's great when it finally drops because
July
it's
7th.
dropping.
It's drama.
It's dropping. Dropping like it's hot.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's very good. It's very fun
It's
to
a
read.
deep summer read.
It is.
Deep summer.
It's actually quite light. It's lovely.
Can I do the audiobook version?
Wonderful.
throwing it out there.
Only if you're James
I
Spader.
actually have often
shit.
thought about what a cool career that would be to be an audiobook narrator.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Of course. Yeah.
Yeah. So sign us up. Sign us up.
Off the clock. We'll talk about it.
Yes. Yeah.
We'll discuss.
iTunes, this thing, and 412-440-7468. If you were in a place where you're drinking
And you have a phone?
and you have a phone, which is impossible now because no one has phones on their person at all time.
Never.
Call 412-440-7468 and tell us about a thing that you just heard or learned or drank.
Or drink.
Yeah.
I know you
yeah.
could do that.
Because we like to hear your stories, and we've gotten one, received one. I fell for
Oh,
it.
you got. Oh no.
Yeah.
That means it's time to go.
Brandy, thanks so much for hanging out with
My
us.
pleasure, guys.
Dr. Chauntelle, of course, every time you're on, every day you're
Every
on.
17 times you're on.
Every 17 times. And Dylan, of course, thank you for helping me run the show.
Yay.
And I'm Travis, and I love you so much. And podcast responsibly.
Always.
You idiots. No, I'm sorry. Love you. See you next week.
Bye.
My favorite porn performer is Janice Sequa.
Yeah.
She's French.